Welcome to the first in a series of Totara tips. My name's David Shaw, I'm the lead solution architect at Kineo. With me is Adam Parsons, the senior client services manager. Today we're going to talk about curated versus discovery user journeys. So the first question is, why do we need to think about this? Why are we talking about it? Adam, what sort of things have you heard from our clients?
Historically, LMS systems have been used for one of two kind of camps of training. Compliance training, where users are obliged to take some sort of course in order to be able to do their job, either for regulatory compliance or legal reasons. And the other side has been more vocational and developmental training to help people progress within their job or onto a more senior job in the future. That's changing over time, and companies are starting to need to demonstrate better return on investment and better engagement within their platforms as LMSs become part of the digital landscape within businesses rather than a standalone system. So this is really allowing companies to expand on that, to demonstrate more value, and really look at how they go about delivering a balance of training across both categories. Thinking about curated versus discovery, what do we actually mean by these terms? What does that look like in Totara?
Curated is where we're feeding the learners with what we actually want them to do. They don't get any choice over what's happening. You can liken that to an airport where you turn up, you have to go through a specific process to be able to board your aeroplane. So you don't get any choice. The opposite of that one is the discovery. And discovery is where learners have the freedom to do what they want. It's a bit like turning up to a museum. You go in, there are loads of arches, there are loads of doors with different galleries that you can go into. And it's up to you how long you spend there, what you go and look at, what you're learning within that environment.
So for our clients, it's likely to be a mix of those two things, because they might have legal requirements for health and safety or GDPR or things like that, but also wanting to bring in other more discovery type journeys. How can they do that best in the Totara system that they might have? Yeah,
absolutely. With it, there are a whole range of things that we can cover. I think it's worth us starting at the most basic of sites. So people are going to start possibly with just a straight compliance site. Those are really simplistic. They effectively are a single page that the learner lands on. There are a handful of courses that they have to do for their compliance. They're merely clicking on links to go off to that course and do it. They're probably spending half an hour doing a bit of GDPR compliance or health and safety. And after that, that's it. They're never going to come back to the site. One of the things that obviously you said earlier is we want to try and get people more engaged in a site. And getting people to come back to the site, we obviously need to offer them a little bit more. So the next type of site that we're looking at are curated journey sites. Now, by curated, we're still giving people a set of training to do. So we're not letting them go all over the place, but we're widening the amount of content that we're giving them. It's not just straight compliance, but it could be based around their job roles. So that there's training that they don't need to do for compliance, but it's about how to do their job well, how to do it better, how maybe to move up the career ladder. Now, a site like this, we've got a couple of choices. We can either come in and give them a record of learning page, much like the one on the bottom right hand of this screen, where we're showing them a list of courses, the completion of that course, or the completion of all of the courses on there, whether required learning is overdue. Or we can give them a landing page which gives them a little bit more of a guidance of where to go. So the top left hand corner on this page has got a couple of big buttons on it basically. One is taking them off to a find learning page, so a course catalogue, and the other one is taking them through to a record of learning page that's showing them what they need to do or what they have been allocated to do. So all of this is using audiences and audience-based visibility, so we can actually say what people can see. So they haven't got free rein, but they're seeing some very specific areas.
So the top left image of the learning centre there, the two buttons you've got, that's essentially looking at both sides of the user journey we're referring to. You've got the what do I need to do within my role? What's the compliance stuff I've got to do? But then also what else might be interesting? Is that right? Is that how you would suggest people think about balancing that?
It is, yeah. It gives us a nice balance between saying here are the things that you need to do for your job. So it's more than just that compliance, but it is based around learning that they have to do because it helps them do their job. The other side of it, as you say, is really if they want to move into another career, then they can go and find learning. So it might be that they're doing a chef job, for instance, and they want to become a manager of a store, and so therefore they're looking for training around management and those sorts of things. The next stage of a site is really removing more of those barriers. So you can still use the basics of a find learning page to explore for things, and also record of learning for the training that you need to do. But really making something more of a discovery site, it is about how you design the journeys through the site. So if you've got time as a learner, say 30 minutes to come in and do a piece of training, then you can come in and you can find training that is less than 30 minutes long. Or if you've got a longer amount of time allocated, then you can go and find longer things to do. But that's not saying that we're not doing the compulsory compliance training, so we can still take people to that. But really the whole idea is to design a site that gives people the flexibility and the idea that when they visit it, that they can go and find things. And in this example, we're using buttons to say, hey, why don't you come and have a look at some more information? It's not just about your job. It's a longer term thing for you to come back and do some training on this site.
So the kind of pure discovery way of doing things, I know we had a client who was a mental health charity where the public could come and learn things about various elements of mental health. That, I think, is a great example of a discovery setup, because someone might come in and just want to go and find out more information about something. They don't actually, in that case, even work for the organisation. They're just finding out information. But for a lot of our clients, having both of these things is really important, because it helps the client to demonstrate commitment to their employees, both within the job that they're doing, but also on training them on their job and helping them develop into perhaps future roles within the organisation. It can also help with retaining people as well. If you're giving them some good training that helps them learn about new things and keeps them interested in the role, that's really important. And we're certainly starting to see much more of a focus on that from the clients that we manage currently. And I think, David, from what you've said, it sounds like Totara is quite flexible in allowing multiple different types of user journey within the same platform as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We can make good use of dashboards for different audiences of people. So in the example you just gave, where the external people can come to the site, look at a dashboard, find training that's specific to what their needs are, but that would be completely different to the internal needs for the staff of that company. And we can use dashboards, audience-based visibility, to differentiate between those two sets of people, to show them what they need to see. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to carry on the conversation, you can reach out to us on Twitter, where we're @Kineo, or via our site, kineo.com.